What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today on episode 43 of the podcast, we are talking about the 2002 dragon flick, Reign of Fire.
Yeah!
Why are we doing Reign of Fire? Well, let me tell you. One of our fans wrote in the comments of one of our videos about, I think it was the Blade 2 video. We made a joke about Dracula 2000, and he was defending it, saying it was a fun movie, which I have seen it. I do agree. It is quite fun, even though it's bad. And he also mentioned that maybe we should cover Reign of Fire. And to be honest, before yesterday, when the recording is being done, I had never seen this film all the way through. I've only seen bits and pieces of it, like through the years, but never seen it from beginning to end. So I was happy to finally be able to sit down and watch this movie from beginning to end.
Blade.
The original, it was a Blade. It was a Blade video.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to look. I have not. I've not seen this movie in a very long time.
I haven't seen it since high school.
Yeah, it would have been around or post high school.
Yes. Yeah, because it's 2002, right? Yeah. Well, I am your host, Brett Parker, and joining me once again after their very extended break is DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela. Woo!
Here.
Welcome back.
Fully rested.
Hello!
Not really, but
Dude, she smoked so much weed. You would not. She was fucking baked, dude.
So she had a good time.
Absolutely, she did. I was like,
All
dude,
right.
that's illegal. She's like, there's a lot of shit that's illegal, and she just took the biggest fucking.
Wait,
hit.
is it illegal in your state?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even medicinal?
Yes.
they're trying to get it passed.
It's bullshit. Just make it illegal, or make it legal. All of it. Legalize
Just
it.
make it
all.
illegal. It already is.
No. Legalize it
Today-
in all the states. Just do
Today
it all.
on Dissect That Weed Talk, we're talking about
That's right.
weed.
Take that weed.
Is it
Well, you-
legal in your state?
Oh.
Take that grass.
By the way, your subscription to High Times is about to lapse. You might want
Okay.
to renew that. So.
I'll check that out after.
What a great conversation to talk about. We're going to be talking about a movie that has a lot to do with things just being lit up, you know?
Yeah. Topical.
Exactly. So yeah, Reign of Fire from 2002. What a movie.
It's an interesting movie, isn't it?
Yeah. It was definitely better than I expected it to be. I think I wasn't going in with very high expectations, even though Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, those are two big names, even though even back in 2002, Christian Bale really wasn't big. I think the biggest hit he had was American Psycho, which came out 2 years before. And then he wouldn't become huge until 3 years later with Batman Begins. So
that's true.
we had babyface Gerard Butler in there sprinkled in. Didn't know he was in this movie.
I was like, Gerard Butler? Like,
all right.
Why is he he's not kicking people into holes? He's not chisel ripped?
No, that wasn't until 2007, I think. No, it had to be later than that, right? Because that was Zack Snyder's film after Dawn of the Dead. I don't know. We're going to go down that rabbit hole. Zack Snyder. I've met his dad once.
Did you? 2006.
I did.
How'd that go?
It was an interesting experience. He was a really nice guy. I worked at Walmart. I worked in the electronics department, and they were moving the departments around. So I was the 17-year-old cashier who was left in charge of the old electronics to watch over it while they were moving stuff. And so, of course, at being a movie fanatic, I was always hung around the DVDs and Blu-rays. And this gentleman just comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, what do you think of that new Watchmen movie?" Because it was 2009 when that movie came out, and huge Watchmen fan. I have two copies of the damn thing back there. But he's like, "What do you think of that new Watchmen movie?" And I was like, "I love it. Huge fan. Read the graphic novel. It's one of my favorites. Saw it in theaters. Love it." He's like, "Oh, my son directed that movie." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he just went into and it wasn't like he just said it and then left. He just went into a full-on conversation about things to do with him. And I knew his sister as well, Zack Snyder's sister, because I played lacrosse with her kids, because they live in the town that I live in. Weird as hell, dude.
Weird as hell. Bro.
All I remember is playing lacrosse with one of them, and he was like, "Yeah, my uncle directed 300," and I was like, "Okay,
whatever,
okay,
dumbass."
Okay, whatever, dude." Yeah, and then I figured out it was all true.
Yeah, does your uncle work for Nintendo too?
But no, yeah. So there's that conversation.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation. But yeah, Reign of Fire. Woo! Released July 12th, 2002. It's budgeted at $80 million. It was budgeted at $60 million and it only made $82.2 million. So not a success.
Just barely made its money.
It was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, which is now just Walt Disney Pictures. So, and it was executive produced by Richard Zanuck, who is one of the executive producers behind Jaws. I saw his name. I was like, oh man. I mean, he's done a lot of other things. He did Back to the Future and all that stuff. But yeah, I saw his name. I was like, oh, I know that guy. So yeah, this stars Matthew McConaughey. You know, again, I think he needs in his contract that he has to say all right in every fucking movie he does. And it like not even in just that way, just in and like he kills that dragon, bro, and he just all right as he like rips one of the teeth out or something.
And he's got to have his like serious, like somewhat like when he gets like really into it, you know, so he gets like kind of watery in his eyes, like Matthew McConaughey does. So he gets like really serious. He always has to have one of those in a movie too.
Yo, dude,
at least one.
Well, see, he was like this the whole movie. He was just like, dude, is you gonna move your neck? Like, damn.
No.
That stick was jammed so far up his ass, dude. It was like a support for his spine.
He was he was a lot of fun to watch though. I loved.
He was
so campy, man. He was just so.
I know, right?
And you don't see Matthew McConaughey like that anymore. At least I don't feel you do. I mean, I've seen some of his recent stuff, but he's just driving around the Lincolns. He doesn't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into all the other trivia, let's go around the room and talk about what we thought of Reign of Fire. Starting with Angela.
Yeah, why am I always first?
We'd love you to be first because you talk the least out of all of us, so we like to put you up first.
I just let you guys go at it, you know.
Well, we already started the conversations from weed. You can just pick right up from that.
No, the first time I saw this, didn't really see much of the movie, was when it came out in 2002. I saw it in theater, but I don't remember anything about it. Yeah. I went on a date with somebody. I don't even know who he is now. I mean, I don't remember.
Is it the double date?
Yes, I don't remember who it was. So I just remember it had dragons in it. I was like, oh, let's go watch dragons.
Don't look over here.
Spent
talking about dragons.
Spent most of the movie talking. So there was only 4 of us in the theater. So that should have been a sign there. But
that's probably why nobody went and seen it. That was your indicator. Like you were the only 4 in the theaters. Like nobody's buying this movie.
This movie's not getting a sequel, everybody.
I enjoyed the design of the dragons. There was a few CG moments where I was like, yeah, that's fake. But yeah, talk more about the dragons later when we come to it. But I liked it. For the most part, it was good.
Okay. My turn. Am I up?
Do you need her to nod her head? Like,
no. I'm up, Captain.
There's some points where I'm like, oh, because part of it takes place in 2020?
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I said.
Like, wait a minute.
I was like, shit, did we miss this?
Even though when the original trailer came out, it said 2084. It said in 2084 AD.
I've read that. I don't remember it, but I like the movie. I remember seeing it back in the day. I enjoyed it. I will say it's a little bit of a slow burn movie, like at the start. But this movie, I know that's what they were going for when they made it, but it genuinely, legit feels like a Knight King Arthur film,
right?
Like I know it's like a post-apocalypse, but like cinematography, lighting, setting, it just feels like it, but less like a Vashti wench or whatever. I don't know. That's pirates. I don't know.
Did they really talk like that back in the day? I wish we could just go back in time and be like, did you talk like what Shakespeare wrote in his stupid books?
I think it was all embellishment. But anyway, I like it. I thought the way the dragons were was an interesting interpretation on how they used the dragons were. Like, I know we'll talk about that more in the film. And Matthew McConaughey. I thought the actors did a pretty solid job. I don't really have any massive complaints from the main characters. The reenactment of episode 5 was pretty cool.
Right?
I thought that was
that
cool.
was really cool.
Um,
And Disney didn't even own Star Wars yet, and they were allowed to do that.
right? It was a foreshadowing. That's what it
Right.
was.
Yes.
The dragons, I thought for the most part, the actual dragons themselves looked pretty good, like CG wise.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because the film was generally a darker movie.
Yeah.
But I
that
think
definitely made
there
it
were
work.
some moments she talked about, and I agree with it. The CG looked kind of hokey, but it tended to involve the people more than it did the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little slow at times, but it's a fun movie. This is definitely a movie that every once in a while I feel you could come back to and watch. The biggest problem is none of the dragons are voiced by Sean Connery.
I didn't think
It would've
dragons
been-
were supposed to talk.
It would have
but,
fit
you know.
perfectly.
This is the sequel to Dragonheart, isn't it? It's like Dragonheart 2020. Like, what? The hell are we watching?
Listen, this wouldn't be the only time that Gerard Butler would die to a dragon. All right. This man's died twice to dragons. All right. He dies in this one
what?
to dragons, and he dies in
Really?
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Oh!
Because he's the voice of Hiccup's dad. Yeah.
Yep.
And yep. So
I forgot. Yeah.
Gerard
well
Butler
played.
needs to stay away from dragons.
We need a third
Yeah,
one. We need another
he's
dragon
gotta-
movie.
I mean, there's more. There's like what? I think there's 3 How to Train Your Dragons now.
Yeah, I never watched the third one.
We watched
I didn't
the
either.
first one in theater.
We watched the first 2 in theaters.
Well, the first one was Sedate.
It was when we watched the 3D. It looked like shit.
Oh, do not watch that movie in 3D.
Ugh.
Which one?
First one.
The first one, first
Oh.
How to Train Your Dragon, made me sick.
I don't
But
think
they
I
were
could
good
ever. I
movies,
don't
though.
think I could go see a movie in 3D again.
We did because the theater here had it, and we're like, might as well. We were on a date,
Yeah.
and then like we instantly regretted it.
I had to
And
take the glasses off a couple of times because I'm like, I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sick.
I remember
What
back
about
in
you,
its
Mark?
heyday. I just remember back in its heyday, 3D. Like I think maybe 2 movies out of like the probably over 20 movies I saw in 3D were actually good in 3D. Other than that, I think it was just I think it was all shit.
it's just a gimmick.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Christian Bale is a fucking awesome, amazing actor. Just give him the awards for everything. He's so good. Matthew McConaughey, he's very campy, but he's so good at the same
Mhm.
time. Like the way that like just the way he looks and some of the lines that he says are really cool. Like the
Yeah.
line after the dragon fight. Oh man, I just thought those 2 characters were really good together, even like because they were adversaries, but then they become a team at the end. It was really good. Isabella Scorupko. Oh boy, why do these people have to have names that I can't pronounce? But she plays Alex. I thought she was good too. Some of the side characters like Gerard Butler, he's just hamming it up too. He's always a good watch. Other than that, yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's got fucking dragons in it. I mean, and they looked good for 2002. I mean, I would rather watch this movie over Resident Evil, the first one, which came out in the same year, and it
Easy.
looked like dog shit compared to this.
That's also true.
The way it was shot was really good. With everything was dark. Because I mean, it's a post-apocalyptic world. Like everything is ash. There's barely any life, and it's great. Like in the scenes where they go to the garden where those people escape to where they're growing all the tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
And the tomatoes are like bright red compared to the bleakness of everything else, which I thought was really good. And the fire is just so vibrant when the dragons would expel it.
On fire.
Oh, everything's on fucking fire. The world is on fire.
See, that's why I said that's what I remembered most about that was a lot of red because, you have the tomatoes and you have the fire. There's a lot of fire.
Yeah. Very, very cool. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And it's weird that the 2 guys that wrote this movie, this is the only writing credit they have. They wrote this movie.
Okay.
This was originally written in 1996 by Greg Chabot and Kevin Turska. And it was bought by Buena Vista, later by Spyglass, and they made the movie, and then that was it. They never wrote another movie again.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Rob Bowman was the director. He also directed the X-Files movie,
never seen
Elektra.
Oh boy.
Yikes. And he did a bunch of TV movies and TV shows. So his career is kind of like he kind of disappeared as well.
Well, if I did Electra, I probably would have as well.
He did other things after.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was Matthew McConaughey. He really wasn't. He probably was the biggest name. He was the he was the front. You know, he was the name they put across the cover so that people would go and see it because he was the biggest name out there. But it's crazy because he doesn't show up till like 30 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, it's a little ways into it before we get McConaughey.
And Christian Bale, he really wasn't big. He was in Empire of the Sun when he was a kid back in the late 80s, Steven Spielberg film. And he did American Psycho in 2000. Yep. So he really wasn't a big name. Same with Gerard Butler. He wasn't a big name either. It was kind of like, who are these guys? We got to make sure we have somebody big in there. But also, we're going to get you into the theater, but you're also going to be like, where the fuck is Matthew McConaughey? Oh, don't worry.
And then when he shows up, you're like,
oh, Matthew? Okay.
What happened?
Is that you? What's going on? That Isabella Scorupko, she's a Polish actress who tries to play an American in this movie, and her accent is very like you can definitely tell she's not American. Like she's trying really hard to do an American accent, and it's just not working out. Is she the
pilot?
Yeah, she's the Alex Jensen.
I have seen her in something else.
And she was in GoldenEye 007. She was in Vertical Limit. Do you remember Vertical Limit? It was a movie about climbing mountain, like climbing a dangerous like Everest-like mountain. Had Chris O'Donnell. Oh, we'll have to do that at some point. And she was in The Exorcist, The Beginning, which is one of the many sequels to The Exorcist. Well, this was technically a prequel. Didn't really recognize her.
You said she's Polish?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a lot of
like Polish films.
It's GoldenEye what I recognize her from. That's when you mentioned that, I looked it up. I was like,
she one of the Bond girls?
She is. Not like a main one. She's a villain, I'm pretty sure. Isn't she? Hold on, scroll down a little bit. What's her name on that? No, yeah, Natalia. No, she's the main Bond girl. Yeah. She's the main Bond girl.
So, yeah, this movie didn't get very good reception coming out of the gate. It only got a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that that really fucking matters. There's just Rotten Tomatoes is just one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, it's there if you want to pay attention to it, but go out, watch the movie, and make your own goddamn opinion. That's what I say.
Well, like Uncharted, that's what it's got, like 40-some% on Rotten Tomatoes.
A lot of people say it's not good. I've been watching a lot of reviews on it. People are not liking it. Whatever. As a Uncharted fan, I thought it was fun, but that's all I'll say until we actually talk fully in depth on Uncharted.
What Attack of the Killer Tomatoes got, and it was an amazing movie.
Yes.
It is not an amazing movie. Don't you dare say that ever again. That movie sucks.
Oh, man. Did you know there was a video game based on this movie? It came out in the same year. Yeah, it came out on PS2,
Only
Xbox, and
because I looked it
GameCube.
up.
I'm going to buy it. And we're going to do it. We're going to play it on stream.
Yes. Can I just be like a voiceover? Can you play it and I just talk over you guys playing it? I'll watch it.
Out.
All right.
We can talk about and we'll talk, and Matthew McConaughey won't show him until like the 4th level of the game.
Or at all.
But it won't even be another dude that sounds like Matthew McConaughey.
That would be great.
I'm gonna look it up. I want to see how much it costs right now.
All right. Oh, you want me to look it up?
No, I'm looking at it. You keep talking.
Oh, okay. So the mechanism of the dragon's fire breath, which is really cool in this movie, where it projects out like that liquid, then ignites into fire, which in earlier films that had dragons in it, they would just breathe fire.
Are you okay?
I literally just tried to Google Matthew McConaughey PS2. Fucking hell.
Why'd you get a Matthew McConaughey simulator?
No, I don't know why. That is how
many times can you say, all right, all right, all right?
It's just you. No, the whole game would just be you in a shitty car, like an old car picking up high school girls. That's the whole game. And every time you get one, I'll say, all right, all right, all right. But that's what his character did.
Wasn't it Mila Jovovich or something that he was trying to pick up in that movie?
I don't even know.
She was in that.
I've not seen that movie in forever.
She was actually like 16, I think. Weird. Sidetrack. Number 7 of this episode already.
Sorry. Yes, the mechanism of the dragons shooting fire is really clever.
It's
I
really
liked how
cool.
they did that.
So after this movie, a lot of films or shows that use dragons adopted this method. So Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Gods of Egypt, because we want to talk about that shit movie, and Game of Thrones. The dragons in Game of Thrones use that same they use that same technique, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, one of the actors from this went on to be in Game of Thrones. Alexander, Siddig or whatever.
Yeah, so
Siddig,
there was a scene where there was a young boy where he had like a weird haircut and he's looking off into the distance. He plays King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, the like most hated character in Game of Thrones.
I wanted to. Oh.
But he was in a scene in this movie. He was also in Batman Begins. So yeah,
good times, dude.
good times.
Was Rachel Goldman?
Yes,
Yep.
that Christian Bale and Alexander Siddig would both be part of the DC universe. Where, or of course Christian Bale plays Bruce Wayne / Batman, and then Alexander Siddig played Ra's al Ghul in Gotham.
Yep,
Dude,
it's
I
true
did
fact.
not watch
Mhm.
all of that. Go back.
All right. Well, I think that's all the trivia. The trivia section on IMDb for this movie is very small. Not much. Other than the fact that I thought it was really cool that Christian Bale, when he first got the role, he was like, you know what? It's post-apocalyptic. There's not much food around, so I'm going to make my character kind of like this skinny, scrawny guy because that's more realistic to the situation. That he went that he went to set and saw that freaking Matthew McConaughey was jacked out of his mind, and he's like, well, I guess I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
so
right. Because there's a fight
out
later in the movie.
Yeah. And boy, Matthew McConaughey is ripped.
He's jacked.
He is ripped.
Because he's got all the apples.
Yeah. Granny Smith's.
That's right.
You know, and the apple that can last the longest of any apple.
So in this movie, there's actually people really thought about like what's going on in this film, which is not, it wasn't just like, oh, let's just have dragons. Let's have Matthew McConaughey versus dragons. We can't just name it that. So we have to make like Rain of Fire. But they actually thought about it.
Yeah.
Like how the dragons work and the apple and like just shit like that.
I thought it was really, it was very well thought out. Like the whole apple thing, like we're just talking about the Granny Smith, like he throws him a Granny Smith. The Granny Smith is what, like you could literally, I think the shelf life of Granny Smith is like 10 times like the second, like the next apple.
Yeah. Cause
like
they're so
when
acidic.
it comes to, and they're my favorite and they're probably the worst for you.
They're the best. They're the best.
They are the best. I have one a day.
Anybody comes in and says they like Red Delicious, we're banning you. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, I'm glad my wife doesn't watch this show.
Oh
no.
All them up there.
Oh no. Oh boy. So technically these dragons aren't called dragons. They're called wyverns because they only have 2 legs compared to dragons, which have 4.
Yes. Yep.
So they're kind of like bats. They literally have like back legs and then they kind of just hang themselves off of things.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought was really cool. They look like fucking dragons. I mean, it's a goddamn dragon.
It's just a different classification of dragon.
The design of the dragons were really cool. I like the wings,
absolutely.
and just the way they look is great. All right. Well, do you guys have anything to add before we jump into this great plot?
I don't think so, do we? No, we're good to go.
All right,
roll, dude.
Here we go. The plot of Reign of Fire. So the movie opens to a that generic slow-mo walk through like a flock of pigeons.
Oh, yeah.
Hannibal did it the year before. Did you ever see Hannibal? The Anthony Hopkins movie, not the show. The beginning of that movie is the same exact thing. It's some dude walking through a thing with a bunch of pigeons. Well, it's a boy. He's walking through. It's downtown London. He wanders into a construction site and everybody knows him. They're like, hey, Quinn, what's up, dude? Hey, go down that dangerous shaft and go see your mom. It's a weird thing, man. This kid is like 10 and they're just allowing him to go down into this like dark cavern, even though his mom's down there.
Thing.
Like, hey, maybe you should call his mom, have her come up, see him, tell him to go home.
Yeah, it seems like real big liability right there.
There's
Major.
a lot in this little section that I'm like, people didn't think about this.
No, this was definitely something they they didn't. They wrote it down and were like, yeah, we'll go back to that later, and never went back.
Yeah, absolutely.
The boy meets with his mom, who works deep underground. And so they had a conversation like, what, did he not get a scholarship to the school or something?
Mm-hmm.
Originally, I thought he just got bad grades, but I guess he got denied a scholarship to the school, which his mom can't afford. And then he's like, what about dad? And they have this like awkward look at each other. And then of course, it never goes back to it because at the end of the scene, we cut 18 years later. Or however long it was.
I mean, apparently at this point, he don't need a scholarship.
No. We get this dickhead driller who drills a hole and tells Quinn to go in.
Yeah, I was like, who authorized this?
Hey, kid, take this flashlight. Get in there.
Yeah, first he has no helmet, no hard hat going into the construction zone. Then they're like, yep, just go on in.
Yeah, who knows if there's any noxious gases or if it's even a stable... Like
he'll find
pocket.
out first.
I know, right? Like sacrifice the child. Who cares?
Yeah. So he goes around exploring with a flashlight, and he sees like this liquid on the floor, and then he sees like fire start forming from the liquid on the ground, and then it gets bigger, and then he looks up to the ceiling, and there's a fucking dragon hanging upside down. Like, what up, boss? And then he comes down. He gets out screaming. Yeah. We're like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, there's something in there. And you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. As Quinn and his mom leave, the dickhead driller and his boss, they go up to the hole, and he's going to light a cigarette. What a dumbass, bro. I wanted the dragon's head to like come out and like light it for him.
Yeah. Thanks,
and then
bro.
eat him.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the dragon blows everything up, just ignites the entire tunnel. Quinn and his mom get into the elevator back up to the surface, and she's hitting that button. Bitch, it don't matter how many times you hit the button. It's not going to make the elevator go faster. That's not how it works.
This is like me skipping a cutscene in a video game we were talking about. Like, come on.
I've already seen
it.
I know what happens.
Yes.
So she's frantically pushing the elevator to go up faster. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Only it did.
The dragon climbs up the elevator shaft and crushes the what do you call it? An elevator? Is it just called an elevator? Is it a car? What the fuck is this thing?
I guess we'll just say elevator car.
An elevator car. It crushes the elevator car, killing Quinn's mom. Somehow not killing him, even though he's right there.
She got smushed.
She got smushed, and he just is like, Mom. And the dragon
get that money from
escapes. Yeah.
Sorry.
And the dragon escapes, and we get a awesome voiceover by Christian Bale explaining pretty much what happens after, which is the dragons. Future. Yeah, dragons take over the world. They reproduce really fast. They are the reason. They are what killed the dinosaurs, Dan, not the asteroid. It was the dragons.
I just want this narrative, and I don't know if anybody's going to get this reference, but this narrative's going on, and he's just going to be like, in a world of danger, in a world gone mad, in a world of dinosaurs and Cadillacs. If anybody gets that reference, I was like, anyway, yes. But that was cool, though. I liked the fact that how they explained how the dragons worked.
Yes.
Like how their theory of how they worked was
dinosaurs.
That was no meteor. That was just motherfucking dragons.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what this movie tells you.
Yeah. And they eat ash.
Yes.
Not ass. Ash.
Yeah. Hey, we ain't gonna judge if they like the other way too.
Yeah, we don't.
No judgment here. So yeah, they like ash. They literally set everything ablaze, and they just inhale it like cocaine? Just fucking go down the line of the ash.
They got some nostrils going on. They can.
I feel how does that sustain you? How does ash sustain like these dragons' anatomy? I would like to do an autopsy and study how these dragons survive off of ash.
Well, admittedly, there is a form. You know, we have the basic building blocks of life. There's the general elements that all living creatures are made of.
Yeah.
There is a type of microorganism that exists on planet Earth that actually has one of the standard elements that we require missing, and it actually one of its basic building blocks of life is cyanide.
Huh.
So, I mean,
Interesting.
we're just used to what we normally know, but in theory, there could be organisms that live literally the entire opposite. They could live off everything that kills us. In theory.
I mean, I guess it's a different, it's a different way of looking at an animal where, it's like it's not something you've ever heard before in any stories about dragons.
Exactly. I was like
instead of dragons just eating like any other animal, this thing literally sets things on fire and then consumes what's left. And you're like, oh,
I thought they just
that's interesting.
Yeah, they let their hot dogs really black when they come off the grill.
Yes. They like it where they literally touches their mouth and it just like dissolves.
If they take their wings and they make a line.
Yeah, that's right.
Snort it.
Did you get that from High Times?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, right, we're keeping this joke alive. It's a dead horse or beat the dragon. I don't know, whatever they call it.
Beat the dead dragon.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds better.
Yeah, so instead of them eating, livestock or horses or foolish knights that go to save fair maidens, they just burn everything and eat the remains.
Isn't there stuff that comes from like nitrates and stuff that come from ash?
Yeah, because ash is good for soil and plants.
So maybe that's kind of what they're getting at. I don't know.
That makes sense. It's cool. It's a cool theory.
Fuck it, kill it with fire.
I don't think it's really ever explained as to.
I don't think they need to. Go ahead.
So Quinn continues to narrate. This is adult Quinn, played by Christian Bale, narrating what's going on the Earth, about the dragons taking over the Earth, and how they live, and that they reproduce so fast that even if you were to kill a couple, 10 more are going to be born to take its place. So it's like, it's just all about survival, just trying to coexist with them in a way. That's pretty much his whole narrative. We find out Quinn is the leader of a group of survivors. He's like down in a mine and he's talking to the scientist, or at least you find out later he's a scientist, talking about the liquid, what was he doing? There was like a liquid that was coming out of this valve. Is it like the liquid the dragons use to ignite the fire?
I thought it was just. No, I thought it was.
Or was it water?
I think it was just water because there's like a sprinkler system. Because he's like, he used to build boilers. He used to make boilers or something.
I completely missed that conversation.
Because they were digging underground, and he's like setting it up essentially, it's like a fire system. Fire and it sets off the.
Oh, okay.
Sprinkler system. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they were going for.
Gotcha. So one of the people that is in this group, he comes down and tells Quinn that someone's trying to leave. Eddie's gone crazy. That's what he's told. He runs upstairs and runs outside, and he meets with Eddie and his wife and his kids, I'm guessing. And they're gonna leave. They want to pick some of the food down at the giant garden they have, but the food's not ready yet. So we already have a plan of what we're going to be doing. You need to chill, Eddie. And he's like, I had kids, they died, and I have more kids, and I'm not letting these kids die. And you're like, oh shit, this is a tough one. But I love that Gerard Butler's character named Creedy comes in, and I love how Christian Bale takes the keys. He's just like, well, you can say whatever you want. He's not going to change his mind.
Right.
And he decides to stay. And you find out that Creedy is Quinn's best friend.
You've been my best friend forever, Creedy.
Yeah. We're going to do some cool fake punches as we climb up there, as we go back to the castle.
We're doing dude bro stuff, Creedy. Get used to it.
Stop being so serious, Quinn. You're so serious all the time. Quinn and Creedy, they recreate the Vader-Luke fight from Empire Strikes Back in front of all the children.
Yep.
I love these kids.
Right? Like, oh, we want Lion King.
No.
I get to the point where, right before Vader says, "I'm your father," and they're like,
This one kid always just saying like up front like 3 times in the scene. It's hilarious. It's like that dude is selling it.
I do like when he recreates a scene of Luke getting his hand chopped off and he puts his hand in his jacket and everybody's like, and he puts his hand back out. He's like, my hand's still here, guys. And then puts it back in his shirt.
This scene has a lot of charm to it. They
Yeah.
clearly had fun with that.
So Eddie, so they do this weird pray thing, the pray circle before they go to bed.
Indoctrination.
Yeah.
Carry on.
It's a cult. It's a cult, everybody.
That's how all religions start.
Yeah, exactly. So when... oh, fuck. Thank God we weren't that big because we'd be canceled then.
Had to get a good one in on the podcast this week.
Yep. We missed that last week.
You had your one for the...
That's it. You're cut off.
That's it. You're cut off.
You're cut off.
Right.
No more. So Eddie and his gang, they leave despite Quinn not allowing it. Pretty much they sneak out when Quinn's sleeping. They take one of the vehicles and they head down to the garden. The alarm is sound and dragons attack the fields that they go to. So they go down to the garden, they're picking food, and then they can hear things in the distance. And then a dragon comes by and starts freaking just setting everything on fire pretty much. And one of the kids dies, or I'm guessing it's one of his kids. I'm guessing all of these people were related to him.
It was Eddie's kid because they talk about it later.
Right. Eddie, oh God. Quinn and Creedy rescue Eddie and his kids with their makeshift fire trucks. I love them coming in. That shot of one of the two walking through the fire in that really cool makeshift fire suit to rescue them, I thought was really cool. Then they come back out and they got like the makeshift fire trucks, which also have a gun on the top. Yeah,
they got like the water. Like, what doesn't one of them have a water turret, but the other one has an actual like gun emplacement?
Yeah. Well, the dragon takes out the person that's on the top of one of the trucks, which is one of Eddie's other kids.
Yeah. The dude gets flamed up good. It's like woof.
Oh yeah, he gets torched. So it's time to figure out what. So once the dragon attacks, the dragon doesn't pursue them. The dragon starts feeding on the ash of the fields because they drive away and it's like the dragon doesn't even want us. He just wants the ash from the field, which I thought was a really cool concept. It's like the dragon just found out about the field. He wasn't there to kill the people. He was just there to destroy the field, to collect the ash, to feed on it.
Yeah, humans are just more kindling. But he's like, oh, here's a bunch of burning vegetables. I can get to this easier.
Yep. So back at the castle, Creedy and Quinn, they're trying to figure out what the hell to do next because their main food supply is pretty much gone. The only thing they have left is Creedy's terrible, just straight up alcohol. So it's probably drinking rubbing alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So, but before they can really figure things out, another alarm is sounded. And we find out that there are some visitors in the distance driving some tanks and military vehicles. And so everybody squads up, gets all their weapons. You find out there's not a lot of ammo to go around. They go up to one of the balconies and pretty much see who's coming in. And when they find out it's Americans, I love the line that Gerald Butler says. He goes, there's something worse than dragons, and that's Americans.
Damn right, dude.
We meet Van Zandt, Denton Van Zandt, played by Matthew McConaughey, coming in with that slick bald head, that bushy beard, and he looked like Bane without the mask. You throw that mask on, he kind of looks like Bane.
Didn't he have like a bomber jacket with like the sleeves were off of it? Yeah.
With the big American flag strapped on the front. Because you gotta show that American flag.
Damn right.
So the reason Matthew McConaughey shaved his head for this movie was because he was losing his hair and he just thought it felt right to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it made his character look more badass. So one of these days I'll look just like that Matthew McConaughey.
We're getting there, dude.
So they want to take shelter in the castle. They want to kind of load up on ammo and artillery and all that. And I like the conversation between Quinn and Van Zandt about Van Zandt's encounter with a dragon, how he killed the dragon because he shows him the dragon tooth. And he tells him about the story in Kansas
Yeah.
about how they killed the dragon and like it was like foggy out, or it was like it was dawn, right? It was like coming from night to day, where it was like that.
Yeah, it's
the
that
magic,
twilight.
the magic hour.
That their
Because-
eyes don't adjust very well in that transition.
Right. I thought it was a really, really. I think that was another thing that was great about Matthew McConaughey was he just everything that he said. Like when he tells stories, you're like fucking invested. You're like leaning in. You're like,
I know,
"Oh,
dude.
Shit, it's so
He's
good."
a hell of a storyteller.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, whenever we talk about, because I'm sure we will eventually, we need to talk about, fuck, I just had it and I blanked the name of the movie. It's got Matt McConaughey. Keep talking, I'll look it up. I know what
All
it
right.
is. I love the movie. Frailty.
Oh yes, with Bill Paxton. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Great
man.
fucking movie.
So
You could tell him what you found out if you want.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure he's one of Denton's guys, right?
I think so.
Doug Cockle is in this movie, and he is the voice of Geralt in all the Witcher video games.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
was like-
cool.
because I was trying to look up the guy that does the lookout guy because he looks familiar. And I clicked on him, and I was like, wait a minute, yeah, he does the voice.
Wait. So the guy with the bird?
I thought he looked familiar, and I was trying to figure out what movie he
So
was
that
in.
wasn't
It's
one
a
of
diff-
Denton's guys. That was Quinn's guy.
But no,
No, it's a
'cause
different guy.
This is a different guy.
Oh.
He
He-
plays,
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
plays Goosh. I don't know if he's ever mentioned.
he's got his name and he's credited. I've seen the scene she's talking about, but he just like I think he appears in maybe one or two shots.
Gotcha.
But it's
I don't think he lasts long.
it's Gerald Rivia.
Well, to be honest, I don't think many of Denton's
Oh.
men make it because at the end he pretty much has to recruit Quinn's men to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he tells this really cool dragon story, and then they allow him to come in, and we also meet Alex and the helicopter crew. They're pretty much, they fly high, they hover over the dragons, they like skydive on top of the dragons with the nets and kill them. You're like, oh shit, that's kind of nuts.
Well, they also mentioned that they hadn't seen the Quinn's people have not seen anything in the air outside of dragons in years.
Yeah.
So like a helicopter is kind of a big fucking deal.
Well, yeah, because they said that they flew, in a plane. He's like, there's no way. The dragons own the skies. How the hell did you make it?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we meet Alex Jensen. She's the leader of this chopper gang, and they talk about like 17 seconds, because that's how. What is that like? How long the whole thing's supposed to last for?
The average life expectancy
Yeah.
of one of the archangels.
Right. That's right. They're
You
called
give 'em-
archangels.
Yeah.
What a name.
Do you give them parachutes?
Yeah. So dragons are back, and Van Zandt sends his team out to kill it. He sends out 3 guys to set up these like beacons to make like a triangular thing on their computers, because they use computers to catch the dragons. Alex and the archangels, they go up high with the helicopter, and they pretty much rely on these beacons to be able to see where this dragon is, so that they can fly down, do their thing, and then kill the dragon. But one of the guys, Picatello or something like that, because you hear that goddamn name 7,000 times. Picatello, are you out there? Picatello. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
we get it.
Piscatella.
He's not alive anymore. He blew up.
He got cooked.
Yeah. So Christian Bale rides on his horse. Yeah, we're gonna go get it. He sets up. Right before one of them gets knocked out of, one of the archangels gets knocked out of the helicopter because the dragon is like right on top of the helicopter.
Alvarez
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. And so the other 2 jump out too. After it was like Christian Bale finally gets that final beacon up, and then the rest of them jump out. And boy, this scene didn't look great. You definitely could tell it's just dudes hanging from wires as they just have a green screen behind them. But it was still kind of tense because it's like you can't see anything.
No.
Anything. And the fact that like that first guy who falls out and he keeps looking back and it's just the dragon just coming out of the clouds. You're, holy shit. And that dude just gets fucked anyways, because he just
After he gets partially cooked.
Yeah.
But as soon as the dragon stops, I'm like, yep, he's gonna hit.
Yeah, because he keeps
And you
looking
see-
back and the dragon like puts out his wings to slow himself down, and he just turns and yep, he's no time to man.
He is smooshed.
And it's
I bet
always
he
this.
bounced.
Yeah. Oh god, that's not nice.
Laugh anyway.
Yeah. So, but you get that scene where it's instead of seeing him just hit the ground, it's the little indicator.
Yeah,
that
the
just shows
readout.
that. It's like beep. It's like a lot of late 90s, early 2000s movies that just show that. Remember Godzilla 98? Where they're shooting the torpedoes at Godzilla? And he's just clawing at the wall. Get me out of here! God, I can't wait to talk about that fucking shit show movie.
What kind of swimming pool is this?
I can't get out! I'm
It's
only
like a
fucking
whale.
60 feet tall.
Fucking hell.
The 98 Godzilla, baby. It's gonna be a good.
It'll be a
fun.
good time.
Oh, I got that sucker on Blu-ray somewhere back there.
I'll
That's
tell you,
gonna be a fun
apparently the 4K release of that actually looks really good.
Really, I didn't even know they had a 4K release for it.
I don't think anybody did.
Because all Godzilla fans just try to erase it from their goddamn memory.
Hey, it is an official movie. You got to put it in the count.
Yep. So, yeah, they get the net. They shoot the other two guys shoot the nets onto the dragon, but the dragon kind of kicks them off. The first guy, Alvarez, he hits the ground bouncing, and I wasn't gonna laugh, but Dan, son of a
hit the
bitch,
ground running.
Yep.
in the ground bouncing.
Jokes.
The other two, or one of them gets eaten by the dragon, and then one of them survives, and then I never see him again. Right? One of them survives, right?
So you're telling me we could have just killed all of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't have made any difference.
I don't remember who, but well, yeah, one of them survives.
So Quinn sets off the beacon and lures the dragon to the spot where Van Zandt can harpoon on the back of this truck. He's got this really big giant harpoon with a really bad fucking sight on it. Just waiting for him to come over the crest of that hill. And it's really cool because you see like Quinn drive over or come over with the horse. And then the dragon comes and he just freaking shoots it right through the freaking chest. And it like splits the dragon in half, bro. Like his entire chest cavity is just split in half. You're like, what kind of harpoon was this?
That's for whaling, me lad.
Holy shit. That dragon is just, he's dead. Really cool effects because it's practical effects when they encounter the dead dragon.
It is all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah, that dragon is not even. There's no chance of recovery there. After the dragon is dead, all the Brits decide to celebrate, and they're playing Fire by Jimi Hendrix as they celebrate in the castle. And it's like, aren't there other dragons around who can hear this noise? I'm very confused. And Van Zandt and his gang show up. Don't know where they were the whole time. Oh, they were burying the dead, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yep. Because that's his big speech right
yeah.
here.
Yep. He goes in, sees everybody celebrating. And this was one of the best lines of the whole movie where he says, envy the country with heroes and pity the country who needs them.
Yep.
I'm like,
I love that little
badass line right
little
there.
Speech he gives.
It is a really good speech. It's definitely a good, like, everybody just stops talking kind of thing.
And when they zoom in on his face as he's talking and you could see his eyes turning red and watering as he's saying everything, you're like, fucking Matthew McConaughey, give him the Oscar, man. Just keep giving him the Oscar, man.
Dedicated to this role.
So good. Why didn't anybody see this movie? Oh, yeah, because fucking Lord of the Rings and Men in Black 2. Son of a bitch. Should have came out in 2004 or something. Oh, boy. I'm lost here. Oh, yeah. Van Zandt buries his dead and explains to Quinn that there's only one male dragon. So they had killed, between Alex and Van Zandt, the whole group there, they killed over 200 dragons and realized every single one was female.
Yep.
So pretty much what they determined is that the dragons are like fish, where the female would lay a bunch of eggs and then the male would just come over and fertilize the eggs.
Yep.
And that's how you get your baby dragons.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah. Oh, why is it sticky? Oh,
right,
God.
Right. It's not rain.
Jesus. Oh, it got in my mouth.
Ah! He just explodes into fire.
It's just fucking jet fuel.
It has to be.
That's all it is. Oh, the dragons are just born out of fiery eggs.
The hat looks just full of magma.
So there's only one male dragon. What a awesome plot twist, to make this very convenient. How easily can we kill these dragons that have taken over the world? There's only one male dragon in the entire world. All right, movie. Yeah,
at least it's not the usual where it's the flip side where they do like the insect hive mentality where there's one female that breeds.
Oh, like Alien.
It's a little bit different. Yeah, like Alien.
Mm-hmm. So, and you find out that male dragon was the dragon you met in the beginning. He was the one that escapes from the hole that starts it all.
You killed my mother, you son of a bitch.
You killed my mother. Prepare to die.
You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are.
Man,
so relevant.
All right. So they need to go to London and they need to find it and kill it because then it would end everything, I guess. Van Zandt.
Because he says kill the male, kill the species.
Well, I mean, they can't breed unless they can change asexually. Then you're fucked.
Which don't they say that at some like when they're in that during that conversation? Don't they talk about like the asexual type thing?
I think somebody mentions it, but I don't remember.
Because I think when they first were talking about how like have you not seen a male? And I think they said something about that. Like it was like, oh, maybe if it was asexual, they could just make babies. And then they're like, no, there's only one male and it does this and this. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess that makes more sense.
Sure.
So because all Van Zandt's men are pretty much dead, he goes and recruits Quinn's people without Quinn's knowledge after Quinn pretty much told him, fuck you.
Yep.
And Quinn's pissed. He fucking runs out there. He fucking socks one into Van Zandt, and then Van Zandt just fucking goes to town on him. He beats the shit out of him, and he even takes off his shirt, and you're like, wow! An added bonus, we get to see ripped Matthew McConaughey just fucking...
Hell yeah.
I would have ran. I was like, no, I'm good, bye. See you later. I'm gonna die anyways. So, yeah, we get an all-out brawl. Quinn definitely does not win this fight. Van Zandt leads his group into London, which is where the male is living, and is attacked by the male, which I thought was a really cool scene. They come up and they are, looking in the distance, so you can hear the dragon, yelling, and you're like, where is it? And then you hear it like whooshing, like it's going super fast above them, but you can't see it in the darkness. He's like, oh, it's toying with us. And Matthew, like, he's not toying with us. Like, is he just going to contradict everything the person says? Like,
absolutely.
It's playing a game. And he's like, he's not playing a game. He's toying with us. He's not toying. I was like, all right, we get it.
I mean, the dude at the dragon had the perfect setup, dude. Like,
he did.
He was just rocking people that came in.
Yeah.
And he just goes through one fell swoop and ignites everything, and it just melts everything. And Van Zandt is the only one to survive. Yep. Because Alex and her group are up in the helicopter. She comes back down. She goes and she's like, where is everybody? And he takes a handful of ash, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and that's where he talks about the one pass. He's like, he did it in one pass.
Yeah. So, and then of course Van Zandt realizes, oh shit, it's going to go to the castle. Didn't realize the castle was this close to London, but this dragon is out. He's going there. He knows where he needs to go. So the male
I wonder if the male can detect where the dead female is at. Because they killed that dragon by the castle.
Well, because you see Quinn get
one
of the eggs.
Yeah, Quinn removes the egg from the dead.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they can kind of sense where the eggs are and not where the females are.
He's like,
could be.
I need to spew.
Yeah, that's right. Time for another deposit in the bank.
Oh, egg.
Yep.
He smells the egg and he just gets immediately hard and just flies.
It's going to be less like a dusting. It's not like a powdering or a dusting. I just assume it's like squirting toothpaste out of a tube. It's just like it just was like a streak down, straight line. Less of a shotgun, more like a laser.
Gosh.
Or hold on, no, hold on. It's like a Gatling gun, it's like and just like fucking unload.
Oh god.
Gosh.
One pass it, he's reloading.
He's like, he only did one pass, and it got really fucking sticky here. It's like I jumped in a vat of honey. Oh, this is gross.
What'd you do, dude? Fall in some lotion? Oh no! Oh
my god!
You're done. You're done.
Like
no! It's a reference. No, I'm gonna reference a different movie. What? Oh, dude. What'd you do? Fall in some white mud? Yeah, I'm the richest guy in the world because I'm the only guy in the world, and those were white mud. I didn't say mud, dude. I said crud. What'd you do? Fall in some crud? Tommy Boy. Come on, I had to make a Tommy Boy reference. Right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh god. So the male attacks the castle. I like when he perches himself onto the top and just blows the fire straight into the castle. And by the time Quinn gets back, because what was Quinn? Oh, he was removing the egg from the female. And then he's riding back as the dragon attacks the castle. He sees Creedy. What's the matter, Angela?
You didn't hear what she just fucking said.
Comment I just made.
Oh.
You said he blows straight down. I said, well, somebody's got to get blown.
The egg's not it.
This show is not made for children.
If they've not determined that by now.
I know. We're only 43 episodes into this goddamn show.
Oh god.
Oh boy. So yeah, Quinn rushes to the rescue and getting all the kids out. That was their main concern. I love, the concern with the children and getting everybody to safety, getting them underground to the bottom floor.
One girl that doesn't want to let go, and he's like pulling on her.
He's like, let go, and you're like, whoa, and she's like, okay.
He's like, let go, let go.
It was
like,
really
don't beat my ass.
It was like the actress was doing it out like not. It wasn't actually in the script, and Christian Bale just got really fucking pissed because she's like, I can't do this fucking scene. Let go of the goddamn wall.
Just leave it. Leave the scene in.
So they all get to the basement, and Creedy. Or they need to go up and get them the rest of them. And Creedy's like, no, you stay here with them. I'll go get him. And right as he goes out the door, the dragon comes back, and that's when he actually blows through the roof of the castle, and it just ignites and it definitely kills Creedy, incinerates him, and then blows the door shut where they can't get out. And go ahead. Oh, I just like the whole thing afterwards with Quinn just getting really emotional as he's slamming on the door, calling for him, and then he goes over to try to soothe all the kids because all the kids are all like, no, Creedy, no. And he goes down into his stance to do the prayer, and he can't even get through the prayer, which I thought was really good. The woman had to take over for him.
I remember because he's like hitting on that door for Creedy, and I was like, wouldn't that door be? And then he pulls his hand back because the door's hot. I was like, okay, there it is.
Those little touches. I'm like,
there's
why
a lot of
would I
those
see this movie?
I know,
dude,
that's
movie.
But then they do the sprinkler thing that they talked about at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
they have that going.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, it's coming full circle.
I'm glad this movie got like a resurgence. It's like everyone that I've talked to about this movie, or like when I talk about that we were watching this movie for the podcast, everybody that I've talked to said that they like this movie. That's a good movie. I have not heard one person say it was bad. So it just was released at a bad time, I feel.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe the marketing was just bad for it. Like maybe people are like, this is just weird. I don't want to watch this shit.
That could have been it too. So Van Zandt and Alex rescue Quinn and the other survivors. They get the door open. We get the close-up shot of the little boy who's Joffrey from Game of Thrones. I had to add that in there. Quinn, Alex, and Van Zandt are going to go dragon hunting. So you're in charge now, Jared, who we haven't really talked about, but he's some kid that Quinn rescued from a different town, and he pretty much adopted him as his own son.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Originally,
he was going to go with...
he was going to go with Van Zandt.
Yeah.
and then he didn't end up going. And I love it when they meet in the garden. He's like, I thought I was finally gonna get rid of you. So Alex and Van Zandt originally were like, we're gonna go hunt the dragon. We're gonna go to London and end this. And Quinn's like, no, I'm coming with you. We're gonna do this. So Jared, you're in charge. So and then they leave. They go to London, and London is in shambles. Like, they show the Parliament in Big Ben, and it is like unrecognizable. You got to drag. I like how the dragon lands on the remnants of Big Ben and perches itself up there. It's just an inferno there. So dragons. So they also determined that the dragons are eating their own because they must be starving. They're running out of out of ash. So they have to resort to eating their own kind in order to survive. Which I like that little touch.
Yeah, it was cool.
They wander down into the lair of the male, and they come up with some C4 arrows that Van Zandt brings. He's like, listen, you got to be close. And you got to hit him in the right spot because we're not going to get many opportunities to do this. So we got to get this done. So the plan goes into action. Van Zandt climbs to the top of a chimney. There's like this giant chimney in the middle of this square. And he climbs up to it with his cool axe and the crossbow.
Okay, speaking of the axe. Okay, because they go down underground.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they jump down the sewer, he has the axe in his hand. And he's got the bow. The axe disappears. Where does it go? And then it appears again. Like,
the prop department forgot to give it to him for that scene, and they just said, "Fuck it, we're not reshooting."
They jump down, and he has nothing in his hands, and he's got the bow, but he has no axe. I was like, why is he bringing an axe to a dragon fight? Because I don't think the axe is gonna help.
Hey, last ditch effort. I do like when they're in that tunnel though, and they have to climb up, and it's the same shaft from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Quinn goes up to the car, and he gets all emotional and stuff, and he's kind of looking at it and get some slight flashbacks, and you got Van Zandt looking down. He's like, "Hey, use it." And I was like, "What a fucking line!" Like, instead of it just being like, "Come on, let's go," it's like, "Use it." Use the emotions and let's get this done. You're like, this movie doesn't get enough respect.
It does. No, it does not.
The writing
really
is actually pretty fucking good. Like, who would have thought? I mean, who knows if it was in the script or if it was improvised by Matthew McConaughey, but it was great. Just that little bit of dialogue.
It's all like we've talked about this whole time. It's the subtlety that everything in this movie. It's like somebody's wrote this like, well, there needs to be more to this. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of movies don't have what this movie has.
Exactly. So Alex runs to get the dragon into position. Van Zandt shoots it, but it does nothing. He shoots it and it kind of blows the fire out as he shoots it. So it blows up instead of it impaling the dragon. It kind of just blows up in his face. It causes some damage. It hurt the dragon. Yeah, it causes some damage because it starts smoking.
Yeah.
But of course, he is in a kind of a really shitty situation. All he has is his axe, and he does the epic run with his axe, and he jumps out, and the dragon just eats him.
Yeah, man. It's a noble effort.
Right. Yep.
He tried, but that axe isn't going to do much.
Mm-hmm. So Quinn and Alex distract the dragon enough to where... So Quinn can get the arrows because he ended up dropping his arrows.
Yeah.
So he has to go get them, but the dragon is going around trying to find him. So Alex distracts him by just running and just starts shooting at him with a machine gun. And he picks up the arrows. He runs straight at it. They're doing like an epic run at each other, and he shoots it as it opens its mouth, and it goes in and just combusts from inside. And you're like, that was pretty fucking cool.
You get two because it goes in and explodes in the neck, and the head kind of falls on the ground, and then the thing fucking blows up again. You're like, yeah,
woo!
Dragon. I love how Alex points out this non-existent arrow. She's like, "Oh, it's by the tire," and you're like,
twice. Twice that happens. He's like, looking, my arrows, and like it cuts. He's like looking. There's something in this shot. I'm like, I see nothing, and it does it twice, and I'm like, what am I looking for?
I don't know what's happening. So yeah, the male dragon is dead. Yay! Humans win again.
Woo.
Can we just have a movie where like this happens and then just the humans all die and we're like, all right, this makes more sense. Yep. So we are now like 3 months into the future, and the dragons haven't been shown. I think because they said something about how they haven't seen a dragon in like 3 months.
Yeah.
But if they come back, they'll be ready.
Yeah, they're sort of erecting that radio tower.
Yeah, because it says something, they'll burn it down and we'll rebuild.
Yep. Very cool line. And Quinn has Van Zandt's cool axe at the end.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's Reign of Fire.
Trivia.
Trivia?
I couldn't think of a good time to mention this, but I noticed a lot of the guns that show up, are in the movie and stuff. None really stood out much for me, except for just regular shit you'd see in the movie. But admittedly, a lot of what they show would be correct for the area they're in, like British-based weapons.
Right.
Like a lot of them use fowls, the British variant of fowls and shit like that. But anyway, the interesting one is Christian Bale's weapon, because I looked at it, I was like, oh, it just looks like some bolt hunting rifle. Didn't think nothing of it. I looked and just curious what it was. It's a Ulrich's Mauser. I'm not familiar with Ulrich's at all. I don't know that company. I'm assuming it's some European manufacturer, but it's a Mauser of some kind. So, it's German based, but it's actually chambered in a very interesting cartridge. It's chambered in 577 Nitro Express, but it also goes by 577 Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, I read that.
And yeah, because I mean, for those of you that don't know, the weapon that Roland uses in Lost World is actually a double-barreled elephant rifle in 600 Nitro Express. So he's using a correct style weapon that you would use for very, very large creatures. It's not just like some random bolt rifle that he just happens to have. So it's this cool little, if you know, kind of thing.
Right.
So, I mean, who wouldn't want a cartridge called 577 Tyrannosaurus Rex? I mean, that's fucking dope as shit. I want a box now.
Oh man. Yeah. So yeah, that's Reign of Fire.
You need to go watch it if you haven't seen it. Watch it.
Yes, we highly recommend it. Listen, I'm never gonna tell somebody not to watch a movie unless it's the Resident Evil ones because they're garbage. But what we do this for fun. This is kind of our opinions on a movie. But if you want to really get your own, go see a movie. Don't let somebody tell you to not see it because it's bad. Make your own. Like people literally all over the internet have been saying about how bad the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is that just came out. Watch it. It's 82 minutes long. Go watch it and make up your own opinion. We're going to be talking about it here on the show soon. So you get to hear what we thought of it. So
the same for Uncharted. I still want to go see it.
Exactly.
Like I mentioned before, if it's something I want to see, regardless if it's bad or not, I'm still probably going to go see it. Like Reign of Fire. We just watched this one day with my cousin, like back in the day. Didn't know nothing about it. Didn't know it did badly. But we talked about, I don't understand it. It had to be marketing or something. But this is actually it's a good movie. Like I have seen much worse that's done better than this film has financially.
Yeah.
It's the dragons having the two that come out of both sides of their mouth.
And it's a chemical reaction.
And it's the chemical reaction. But when you see the dragons shoot the fire, you can clearly see it coming from both sides of their mouth.
It's like the liquid
like
comes from
little,
it, right?
Yeah, it's like the little things that they make mention, but they still keep with it, and they still show that.
Whoever made this movie clearly loved this idea. They were very invested in this idea and wanted to do a good movie. And I hate that for them, for the writers and stuff that made this idea, but anybody involved in this movie.
Yeah, and they didn't write anything after.
I know, right? Maybe they're just like, all right, this is what we had.
This was it. This is all we could do. They saw the failure of the box office and they just kind of gave up, I guess. Even though I thought that the storyline was really cool, the little bit of details was good. The director definitely did a great job at adding those details in certain things where a lot of big time movies that make $150 million don't add those things. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's all, I mean, when it came to 2002, this movie was up against Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. This was up against Men in Black 2. These were movies that already had an established film before it, and that's what got people excited. This was, I think, third in the box office on its release weekend, behind Road to Perdition,
which is a good movie.
Yes, but that was also based on a comic book.
Yep.
And of course, Men in Black 2, which already had a blockbuster, a few years before. So it just was kind of, I think, released at the wrong time. And probably, the marketing probably wasn't the greatest for it. I mean, it's got fucking dragons in it. Like, how hard would it have been to just market it that way? It's Matthew McConaughey fighting dragons.
I know. I don't get it.
It's unfortunate.
It's just like you said, it's a cult movie now.
Yeah.
It's a cult classic.
It's on Amazon Prime right now, so if you want to watch it and you have Amazon, go check it out. Highly recommend it.
Watch it. I thought we watched it on Peacock.
We watched it on Peacock.
It's free on Peacock.
Maybe it's on Peacock too. All right.
Yeah, if you don't have Amazon but have, it's free on Peacock. Go watch it there.
There you go.
It's just going to cost you your time. It's how long was this movie? 2 hours? Less?
Like
long,
an
but
hour
you have
or
to
45, something like that.
You have to sit through the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few ads.
But yeah,
it's free. What the fuck you want?
Highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
It's a good watch. But now that is over, we are hopping into another franchise, and boy, it's a big one. Because of the release of the Batman on March 4th, we are going to be jumping into the franchise. Starting off with the 1989 Tim Burton Batman next week. And I'm going to be putting it out there. Anyone who listens to the show, and we're also, I should have a guest for the Batman Returns episode, which I'm very excited about. But I'm very excited just to be talking about Batman. We're going to be hopping into Batman. We're going to be doing Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Yes, we're going to be talking about Batman and fucking Robin on this show. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and then the Batman. We're not doing the Batman v Superman. I don't want to do
that. Yeah, fuck that movie. Fuck it right in the butt.
Listen, I don't hate Ben Affleck's Batman, but it's not a Batman movie to me. It's yeah. So next week, we are going to be talking about Batman 1989, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson. Just amazing. Chef's kiss.
Good. That's it.
Just good. Good.
So
that's good.
This recording is going to be it was done before recordings that are probably going to happen earlier in the week, but the episode for Jaws the Revenge.
Yes.
Will be out, or should have been out this past Monday. And also we're going to be talking about the it's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And probably next week at some point, we are going to be talking about Uncharted and of course Batman 1989. So a lot.
Uncharted.
We're going to be making some, we're going to be making a lot of videos. We're going to be talking about a lot of movies. I'm very excited for the next few months. And of course, when the Batman comes out on March 4th, when we all see it, we are going to be talking about it, because that's the whole point of us jumping into this franchise, is because of the release of the Batman.
I'm going to complain.
The Batman.
Just going to let you know. I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to bitch.
Okay.
Because that movie does not need to be 3 fucking hours long.
No, I 100% agree with you. The Dark Knight was like 2.5, almost 2:45. And I love that movie, but I was like, okay, we don't need... Why do we need movies to be that long?
I agree. I'm gonna say, because I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind watching if it's a good movie, but still, I don't like. It's just that's a huge investment, dude.
It is.
That's literally like 2 films you could watch almost.
But regardless, I'm very excited to see it. It looks every time I see a trailer, it gives me goosebumps because it looks like it's going to be a great time.
Yep.
Other than that, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the video down below. Make sure to leave us your comments on anything we might have missed talking about Reign of Fire or anything you want us to talk about in the future, because the reason we did this episode was because of a comment left on a prior video. So if you want to see us do a certain video, do a certain movie or movie franchise, just leave us suggestions in the comments. Or tweet me at Dissect That Film, because that's where I primarily send tweets now, because doing 2 Twitters is just annoying. So I just try to stick to one.
and thank you, by the way, who suggested that, because I don't know if you hadn't, I don't know if I would have watched this movie again.
Exactly. This probably, I mean, maybe, I don't know, probably not. This would have been a weird one to kind of just randomly think about, especially when it's not one that I own. So
yeah. It's so many movies out there. It's easy for stuff like this that can be cult classics or just underappreciated films that just get lost in the deluge, and you're just like,
yeah.
And we hit 300 subs.
Yes, we hit 300 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much. Woo! Oh, we have merch too. I'm wearing some of our merch today. I finally got my merch.
You finally.
It's fine. I finally got my merch. But hey, listen, go to TeePublic. They're great. Their customer service is fantastic. So you have any issues with them, they'll help you out with no issues. Yeah. Stressless. So thank you, TeePublic, for great customer service. But yeah,
other
go check
important
out
announcements.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish.
Nope. Go ahead.
Oh.
Go watch Jurassic Park 3, because it's at 31,000 views.
Oh, almost 32.
Almost 32, and Lost World is at 20,000 views. So
all of our fans over in India showing us some love. Thank you so much.
Yeah, chilling out, dude.
Also, like 96% of people who watch our videos aren't subscribed to the channel. Why not just hit that hit the sub button? Just hit it. It's free. Just hit it. All right.
Yep, absolutely.
Hit it. Because maybe we'll do something when we hit a milestone, like 1,000. All right.
Like tickle your pickle.
Not that. Not that at all. Damn it.
I'll pass on that day. I'm gonna call out sick on that day.
All right, everybody. So we will see you all next week for Batman 1989.
Yeah.
And other things. But until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is DNA Gaming. We are Dissect That Film. And this has been the Dissect That Film podcast, episode 43. Make sure to follow us all on our stuff on the bottom. They're all in the links. The links are down there. So go click them. All right, everybody. See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.